Next week I'm headed back to Christmas Island. This will be my second trip. I took my first one last fall, and before I left last year I put together a video of all the gear I was taking and how I was packing it. I'll put a link to that video in the description and up here. But what I wanted to do is share 5 things that I'm changing this time around and 3 things that I'm absolutely keeping the same. If you're a beginning saltwater fisherman like I am, I think Christmas Island is an ideal destination. The fishing is fabulous. I really like the wading aspect of it. To me, it's more intimate. Plus, it has a big advantage that you're in the water and you can get much closer to the fish. You don't have to be bombing 60-foot casts into the wind. A lot of times you get by with a 30-foot cast, sometimes even a 15-foot cast, and you can be very successful.
There we go.
The first thing I'm changing is my rod selection. Last year I took a 7, an 8, a 9, a 10, and a 12 weight, plus a backup 12 weight. I never used the 7 weight, I never used the 10 weight, so this year I'm paring it down to just an 8 weight, a 9 weight, and a 12 weight. The 8 weight will be the bonefish rod, the 9 will be dedicated to triggers with a heavier leader and a triggerfish specific fly, and the 12 weight for GTs obviously. I will take a backup 12 just in case, and a backup 8 just because I have it. The first thing I'm not changing is my basic travel setup. So I'll still take 3 bags with me, a rolling duffel bag, a rod case, and a backpack. The duffel bag will have most of my clothes, a large selection of flies, and other things that I can't carry on. Rod and reel case, obviously rods and reels, but also some leader, tippet, all my tippet, and a small selection of flies. And then I will carry that on, I'll carry the backpack on, and the backpack will have my essentials, all my electronics. It will also have my first day of clothing, including boots. So if my duffel bag doesn't get there, I have my rod and reel case with me that I've carried on, so I've got all my fishing gear there. I've got my backpack that I've carried on, so I have at least a day's worth of clothing to fish with, and I can start fishing, and that's the most important thing when I get there. All right, the second change I'm making is my on-water setup, how I carry my gear around all day. Last year I used a Fish Pond Wind River roll top backpack. I really do like this bag, but it just has some disadvantages when it comes to wading the flats all day. So this year I'm switching that out, and I'm taking a Fish Pond submersible Thunderhead backpack, which I've added their waterproof pouch to, and I think this is a key addition for me and is going to help solve some of the problems that I had last year. So the idea is I can put small things in here, a small selection of flies and some fly pucks, and my extra GoPro batteries. So if I have to get something quickly, I can get into here without having to get in the main compartment, but I still have the advantage of this big main compartment for my jacket, snacks, food, a drone, bigger fly boxes, and whatever else it may be. So this is how I'm envisioning that it could work out. So if I'm out fishing and my GoPro battery does die, I can undo the waist belt and just bring it over my shoulder and then quickly get into here, grab my GoPro battery, change it, whatever, and zip this back up and then bring it back around. And yes, I know what I've done is I've converted this backpack into a sling bag in a way, but that's fine for me because I don't like sling packs. I just can't wear them. They're uncomfortable for me because I have really bad arthritis in my shoulders. You'll also notice that I have a camera on a carabiner. I really like this approach, so I have easy access to it. That's important to me because I like to take a lot of photos. If I do have to get into the main compartment of the backpack, this is the process that I would use. I would just take the shoulder straps off, bring the bag around, and then I can just rest it, unzip it, get in there, get my snack, get my rain jacket, whatever I need, zip it back up, and then I can just bring it around. So that's the theory. We'll see how it works out, and I will let you know. All right, the second thing that I'm not changing is the clothing that I wear out on the flats all day, starting with boots. I took the Simms flat sneakers. I really like these. They're sturdy. They've got great ankle support, something you'll really appreciate when you're wading through over hard coral all day, and you'll really appreciate it if you have the chance to go out to the Korean wreck and wade that rocky surf line out there. Last year we had a guy just brought the neoprene booties and he was miserable at the crane wreck. He had a really hard day, whereas that was one of my favorite days, and I think a lot of it came down to the footwear and the boots that I had. The other system that works out really well are shorts and leggings. You may look like a dork, you think, but get over it. It works out really well. The leggings reduce drag as you're walking through the water, which can become very tiresome when you're wading 8-9 hours a day. And it's also quieter, so hopefully you can get a little closer to the fish without spooking them with all that fabric flapping around out there. So get over looking like a dork, embrace your superhero, and go leggings and shorts. All right, the third thing that I'm adjusting is my fly selection. I'm just making minor adjustments here. Bonefish flies, pretty good last year. I use a lot of Christmas Island specials and gotchas, the very traditional flies. This year I am taking more unweighted or blind flies and flies that will land gently on the water for when I'm fishing super skinny water. For GTs, taking same flies. You only need 6 to 8 flies. Last year I only had 2 different patterns tied on the entire week. Came home with them, so no changes on GT flies. For triggerfish flies, though, this is where the biggest change is happening. I'm taking a lot more crab patterns. Triggerfish, when you're fishing for triggerfish, you get 1 eat out of a fly usually, and then it's mangled, and then you have to switch flies. So a lot more crab patterns and some other triggerfish specific flies that I picked up from some local people who have been out to Christmas Island many times. The last thing I'm not changing is my video and photo backup system. Last year I purchased this NuQ file hub. It worked out really well. This way I don't have to take my computer with me to transfer and back up files. So this system is really simple. You just put the SD card into the file hub, connect up the hard drive to it, power it on, push one button, and it'll automatically transfer the contents of the SD card over to your hard drive. So I get back at the end of the day, hook this all up, transfer my files over, and I have a backup copy. All right, the fourth change that I'm making is a very late change for me. It's an audible that I called earlier this week, and that's adding a stripping basket to what I'm taking. I made this change so late that I don't even have it yet. It's supposed to get here tomorrow. For those that are not familiar, when you're fishing the backcountry, you're not walking across flats, you're walking around the edges, and these edges are coral, and they're very jagged. So if you have any line dragging behind you, or poor line management like I do, it tends to get snagged, can get nicked and those sorts of things. So I'm hoping I can get used to a stripping basket, be able to keep all that line in the basket when walking, and then just be able to cast out to fish without have to worry about that. So the last change I'm making is not fishing related, but it's more people related. So last year I ended up leaving behind my extra snacks with the lodge staff. This year though, I'm making a more conscious effort to take things for the community. I'm especially going to take some school supplies that I can hand out, and hopefully they can be put to good use. All right, we'll check back in a couple weeks for hopefully a new exciting video about my adventures on Christmas Island. And if this has been helpful in any way, please like and subscribe.